and I will be able to share this with everyone. I'm also going to want everyone to mute themselves. So I'm going to just make sure that's done. If you need to unmute yourself, feel free to raise your hand, request for that. You can always message us directly through the chat window. Again, this is going to be it's going to be pretty fast paced. If you guys have questions, go ahead and ask them. I don't want you guys to feel like you can't ask the questions, but there's so much that we're going to go over in today's training. With that, let me just go with the first slide here in the agenda, which is, we're going to talk about the release, some changes that we've made to our product. Some of you may have seen it already. We haven't made it public, so you guys are going to be one of the first to know about these changes. We're going to talk about common scenarios that you should be able to handle, best practices using Kaydoh, where we're seeing results from, handling objections with prospects, and then doing title content, like content for your product, for your business. Go ahead, Cheryl, you had a question? It says here, the chat's disabled. I'm getting a bunch of phone calls here. Let's see here. Let me admit everyone in here. Well, Cheryl, can you repeat that? You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Chat is disabled.
I have a question. If not, we're going to go right to this.
Okay,
we'll go right into it. Let's just get right into it. Again, the chat window is at bottom left where the Zoom window is, and you can have your questions there. You can raise your hand, and I will monitor while I do the training. Let's just go ahead and begin, folks. This new change that's happening. Couple of things here. We have some new designs. We have about 5 new designs. Prior to this, we only had really one template for real estate agents to use. And by the way, let me step back here. There's a lot of things that I'm assuming you guys know, right? You know about Kaydoh, you've seen the product, you used it, or you pitched it to your clients. So this isn't an introduction. This isn't something, you can always go back and watch the demo video. I'm not going to go through that. So this is really for those who have been acquainted with Kaydoh. So with that said, let me pull up my browser here and just give you, we're not going to go through all the designs. We're just going to go 2 designs so you can just get a general idea. One of the things we've done with our designs is we've added some more animations to it. So again, that's going to create better engagements for consumers. And as people browse through the content, you'll see things pop a little bit more, bounce a little bit more. This is what a lot of the newer modern experience are doing this, and we're just applying the same technique. Another thing about these new designs is we're focusing on the virtual tours. That's becoming more of a must-have now, and we want to make sure we highlight that early on into the page. At the same time, we're making the real estate agent's profile stand out a little bit more. We're providing the social media profiles that wasn't available. We're automatically bringing in the Zillow reviews for the agents, and we're making we're making the call to actions available in multiple areas. So it's not just having a live chat, but we want to make sure that if they want to call the agent, they can call them through here, they can call it up top, or even when they're browsing through the photos themselves, they can call a live chat. So we're making that really easy for our visitors, again, to reach out to the agents. And the testimonials themselves, that's what's new as well. We're bringing in the Zillow reviews. And even if you don't have Zillow reviews, you can manually put in reviews. So this particularly would be beneficial for everyone on this call because obviously you guys are not real estate agents, but you can bring in your reviews, for example, from Reach 150 or reviews that you got on Facebook or even from your LinkedIn recommendations. All of that stuff can be manually put in here as you create content for yourself. And again, the reason why we are bringing in testimonials is a lot of times the visitors, they do a lot of research, and if they're looking at a property, for them to decide to work with this agent who they've never seen, having the testimonials just emphasizes that brand and that additional layer of why should I work with this agent, especially if agents are targeting homeowners and they're using their own content to drive in that traffic. Well, having a testimonial helps with that. So with this new design, that's going to create better engagement. We have 5 different layouts to choose from. I'm going to have you guys, really just, you can play around with those designs and look at them. I'll show very quickly, shortly, on how you can view these examples. But I do want to draw attention to this design called Alpine. So this one is where we're not making the cover or the front of the website a picture. Instead, we're making it a video. So the video itself can be played at the very top. And as they scroll down, again, it's a different layout where we're emphasizing the video up top, and the rest will be pretty much the same. The gallery is going to be there. Maybe the way we're showcasing the profile is just a little bit different, but the testimonials, again, they're being shown down below, okay? So this is called the Alpine layout, and we have 5 different variations of these. And again, go on your dashboard and you'll be able to view these. But these newer designs are going to help your agents out a lot more now and give it a little bit more variety. Okay, so with that said, I'm just going to move this over here. Move this over here too. I'm going to go over to, I'm going to close these 2 examples here and go over to our dashboard. Another thing we made changes to is we've optimized the way you can share things on Facebook. One of the common problems we've seen with real estate agents is that their messaging is inconsistent. We often see this. We see agents write a post and then they have tons of hashtags, or they have 1 or 2 hashtags, and then they have to repeat themselves writing their tagline. And what we call that is really a social media signature. So with our new way of sharing, it's not a new way of sharing, but when you're sharing, for example, let's just say we're going to share this property listing. When you click on the share button, we're going to pre-generate the post for you. So we're going to pre-generate what you should write. We're going to have the right emojis there for you. We're going to emphasize and bold the highlights of the property. And then down below, we're going to bring in what we call your social media signature. These are your hashtags that you routinely use. Once you put it in our system, it's always going to be there. So the benefit of this is it's going to save you a little bit of time, and a little bit of time means a lot. It's going to keep the branding and your messaging consistent. So if you are, you always use these, set number of hashtags, Kaydoh's going to remember that. And then you can have your email, your phone number always available towards the end of your post. So when you do go out and decide to share this post and you click on that, let me just do this quick example here as this thing loads up. And again, if you guys have questions, feel free to message it through the chat. I'll be able to answer that, or raise your hand. So as this thing loads up and you're sharing it on Facebook, all you got to do is just Control V, paste that in there, and you're ready to go. You just post it. So again, all of this is pre-done for you, pre-written for you. And I'll show you shortly in how you go about, modifying the social media signature. Another change we have is with Kaydoh now, you can directly have conversations with visitors through your browser. Even if your browser is closed, you can still get messages through the computer. So prior to this, there was no way to load up these messages. It was all through the Kaydoh app, the mobile app. But for those who are still on Android, this is an alternative way of using Kaydoh, because you can still leverage all of our great features and functionalities, but you can still have that conversation through your computer. And you can have these one-on-one conversations, and you'll know exactly where it's coming from, bottom right here, as you have these conversations going back and forth. And even through here, you can directly call them. All right, so moving along here, let's see here, chats. Oh, let's go ahead and talk about how we can make these changes. Going back here, and when we were about to share a post, how do you make changes to this signature, right? Because that's going to be specifically tied to how the agent is branding him or herself. So what you want to do is at the very top right, go to the settings, and in this area, you're going to be, if you scroll down, you'll have a lot of the fields are self-explanatory, like the name and number, logo, profile. But two parts here you want to pay attention to. You have the website signature and the social media signature. The difference between these two is the website is this is what's going to be shown on the website itself every time. So a lot of times it could be very similar. I mean, the difference here is really the hashtag. You're going to put that on the social media end. So if you want to add additional, top agent, you're adding additional hashtags, you just want to keep adding them in here and you can save it. As the same thing, you can put your number in, your email, your license number if you want to do that on your social media posts. And again, you can be very creative on what you put through here. I use a tool called Yatex. Yatex. It's a great tool. It's a free tool. This is a way where you can really bold words in your social media post. So if I, a common question is, how do I get this italic in bold, right? So if I just type in who you work with matters, you're just going to get that. And when you share it on social media, you just get that. But if you really want to emphasize this, you just copy this, go to that tool, yatex.com. And again, I'm going to send this out in an email as well for everyone to have this available to you. But you can just paste it in there. It's going to make those words that you just typed in, you're going to have different formatting options, which you can just copy. I can click on it. For example, I like this. I can copy that. And if I go over here, I can just click paste, and it's going to bring in the bolded words. And that's one of those tips and tricks you can do on social media that just emphasizes and then allows you to stand out a little bit more. On Facebook, there's no way to provide something like this directly. They don't offer that. I don't know why, but they don't. So this is one way to just kind of make your profile stand out a little bit more. So with those two, another thing here is you can bring in your a calendar system. So one of the tools we always recommend agents to do is sign up for Calendly. Calendly is a great tool that can look in your calendar and allow visitors or allow people to book a time with you. So for those who have never used this tool, we're going to have a training on this and how to set this up. But it is straightforward in the sense that, as long as you put in your email, the system will take you through a place to set up your set up your calendar so that when someone, when you provide them a link, and I'll do one right here. This is a link from Calendly. This is the link I would give to anyone who wants to, do a private demo with Kaydoh. But then this, taps into our schedule and offers, the times that are available for anyone to book a time on. It's great, saves you time, and it's important that if you're trying to help out the agents and speed things up and automate things, Calendly is one of those tools that are for free, and you can add that through Kaydoh. And with Kaydoh, there's a section here down below towards the end where it says calendar link. You can just drop that in, paste that link in, and that's going to allow the agent to be able to bring in buttons that can direct people to your calendar. So with that said, I'm going to move on, and here's, again, these are your social media profiles. So this is where we unlocked a few of these accounts, which you can just copy and paste your URLs and add them in, and that will automatically reflect all your past pages you've made and pages you've going forward. Now let's move on to how do you add system buttons. So with Kaydoh, we've also enabled buttons that you can add in that are done for you. So prior to this, when someone signs up, it wouldn't be so clear that you can add custom buttons in. And if you did add a custom button, we pretty much let the visitor or the real estate agent figure out what to write and what they should be doing. So instead, we have a button here called system buttons. So when you click on that, we give you different options that you can choose from. For example, I want to bring in what is my home worth, right? I want to bring in a scheduled private tour, and I want to click on a button to learn more. So I like these buttons I want to bring in. So I want to click on add buttons. It's going to bring in the labeling. It's going to give me the action that's going to apply, and it will automatically provide the response. So here, what I mentioned earlier with the Calendly link, by the fact that we added that into our system, now when someone clicks on schedule private tour, it's actually going to bring them to your calendar link. So this is why having that available would speed up the setup process. If you didn't have a Calendly link, all it would be just be blank, and you would just have to manually put your calendar link in there. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, and again, you can always make changes to this. I mean, these are system buttons that are pre-written or pre-done for you, but you can always go, you can make those changes that for you based on your needs. So maybe you don't want to redirect them to your website because you don't have a website. Then maybe you want to grab the phone number, and then you want to provide the appropriate response to get the phone number. Okay, let's move along here. It's already 10:18. Testimonials. So where do you add testimonials? Again, in the settings section, you have multiple tabs. There's a tab called testimonials. This is where you can bring in your Zillow reviews or bring in your own manual reviews. So Zillow reviews, you just put that username, the person's username right in here, and click save. And when you use one of our templates that have the Zillow reviews, it will automatically pull them in. Now, if they don't have Zillow reviews, or you don't have Zillow reviews, you can manually add in new testimonials. And as you do that, you just got to put in the name and the actual review itself. As you do that, it will apply, right? And if you have their photos, that's great. It's always helpful when you do a testimonial, you can put someone's picture on that. So you can upload their photo if they give you that type of permission. Typically, they wouldn't mind because, again, they're giving you a public testimonial that they know that you're using across your social media, across the internet. So having the photo, just get their permission. If not, then it's not going to show it. It will just show the name. And then make sure you click save though. Once you add this stuff in, click save. So it will apply either the Zillow or your custom testimonials, but it's going to combine them together. So this is helpful for those who are starting out. They might have one Zillow testimonial, but they have multiple others that they want to bring in. You can combine them together. No problem with that. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to go to the next section here, which is common scenarios to handle. So going back up here, let's just be realistic here. I mean, it's not your job to necessarily do this or help agents out, but we know agents expect you guys to help them out, right? That's one of the value propositions that each of you offer to your clients, is that you don't just do title, you're learning new technologies to introduce to them. You're learning how to be a marketing expert in some ways to teach them so they can grow their business. So naturally, they're going to ask you, how can you help them, set up their account? Even though Kaydoh has a great support team and we will do a lot of the work for you in terms of the setup, but nevertheless, they will be inclined to ask you personally to help them. So some of these things you should be aware of is, for example, if they want to bring in the testimonials, how do I do that, right? You want to make sure you tell them, go to the settings, go to the testimonials and put in their username. Sometimes agents don't even know their username. So you can help them out by just going on Zillow.com, and go to Agent Finder. And from here, you just type the person's name. So let's just go ahead and put in, let's say Matt Nguyen. I'll type that person's name in, and there's multiple Nguyen's here. So find the right person. So once you click on that person's profile, his username is right here on the URL. It's right here. It says VA Realtor 703. That's what you want to use, and copy that over here and paste it. Okay. So kind of going back to figure out how you find that person's username. If they don't even know it, you can just go and click here, find them through Zillow. One quick tip though, sometimes you might have something that says something like this. Let's say it says Matt-Nguyen, right? So in Zillow, that's their username really is not Matt-Nguyen. It's really, if I go back here and paste it, it's really Matt Nguyen with a space in between. So that's just a quick tip. And again, if you guys get in trouble or get stuck, just chat with us here on the bottom right. So Kelly does a really good job for us. She's our virtual assistant, and she will respond pretty quickly. And if she doesn't, put your email in and she'll respond at least within the day. I mean, we pretty much hold ourselves accountable within the first few minutes to respond back. Okay. So with that said, what else things do you want to be ready to help with? is how do I add in Calendly? So again, we're going to do we're going to do a training on specifically how to set up Calendly, especially for your accounts. You guys can, go through this yourself. But agents, once they do have a Calendly link, they may not know where to put this in Kaydoh, and it's in the account settings tab, and there's the very bottom where there's a little link here that says calendar link. This is where you want to put in that calendar link. Once you put that in, everything else gets applied. Okay, I think I went over the system buttons, and that's another thing you will be asked is how do I add buttons to my chat box? You can do that again, going through the default chat box, clicking the edit, and in here you have system buttons. Right? Prior to all of these changes, this wasn't available. Now you have this, and you can add these buttons in. You pick the ones you want, and then add it into the chat box. And again, you can add your own custom buttons too if you want as well. There's no changes to that. Okay, let's see here. Oops. I went too fast. Let me go back here. Okay, so, another thing here is make sure you add them to your personal website. That's an easy win. So I'll give you a quick example here. Julio Roscoe, he's the VP operating manager at Intero in Morgan Hill. He's using it and he's loving it, and it was really easy for him to put the Kaydoh live chat on his website. And that's an easy win for anyone to do, even if they don't know maybe what content to put up. I mean, most agents, especially those that have been in the industry long enough, they'll have a website. So they can easily put Kaydoh onto the website. That's an easy thing. That's the first step they can do right away. And a matter of fact, over last weekend, we had a customer that signed up, and before they even started using Kaydoh, that's one of the first thing they did is they put this on their personal website, and they got 2 leads out of it, and they actually set up an appointment with one of the customers, one of the leads over the weekend. So it was really effective. And again, without the Kaydoh product, there's no way to really do that or offer that type of engagement without a live chat. So that's the first thing you can do is offer and let them know that you can add this on your own personal website. Now, how do you do that? Now, I'm not going to go through exact step-by-step. Again, use Kaydoh support team. They can help you walk you through it. But for those who are a little bit technically savvy, within the Kaydoh settings in the default chat box, there's a little button here that says embed code. This essentially is what you want to copy and paste into your realtor's header, essentially. And again, I would just recommend, if you didn't understand what I just said there, is just go to Kelly, ask them, set up an appointment, and they'll be more than happy to help your clients out by adding the live chat to your website. Great. Okay, so let me close this here. Let's move on here. It's already 10:20. Move on. Okay, best practices. Okay, so the best practice with Kaydoh is you gotta produce weekly content. Where we're seeing customers of ours getting the best is they're producing weekly content. Their content that's either their listings or their colleagues' listing. They're putting something together with Kaydoh, and it may not be property, it might be business spotlighting. So those are really effective ways, and just industry standards in general. When it comes to landing pages, you gotta do at least 40 before you see any type of results. I mean, that's not real estate. That's just in general. So just keep that in mind and keep that in perspective. This isn't a product that you use the first time you're gonna get tons of leads. It doesn't work that way, right? Our product really opens up a line of communication to the consumer, to the agent. That is really what we're doing. And we're giving different templates to start that conversation. But really, that's the number you want to go for. It's like you got to produce content. Another one is, putting it on your personal website. That's an easy win. Put that on. Once you put it on, you set it, it's there. And as people visit their website, you can have the comfort of knowing that you're always available to reach out to them, or they reach out to you. There's a campaign we call a 1-2 campaign, where we see agents will promote a property listing, and then they'll do a spotlight around that business. Right. So they'll do 2 contents, one property listing, and second do a business spotlight around that listing. So let me show you a quick example of that, where if I, let's see if I can pull it up here. Let's do this one here. We'll close this. So what I mean by that is you can have a spotlight. You can pick, you can do a, let me just pull up this thing here actually before I speak here. So the 1-2 campaign is where you're doing a property listing, right? And you put this out on your social media, on Facebook, LinkedIn, email, text messaging, Twitter. You put it out there, and now you want to create drive more traffic back to this website, right? You want to drive them back to start that engagement. So one way to do that is you can just use the map from that location and choose one of these businesses that you see and then do a spotlight on one of those business, right? So you can do like a La Victoria or the Backyard Caribbean Grill. Choose one of those that is near your listing, and you can do a spotlight on that. And imagine doing doing a business spotlight. It's just taking a few photos, dragging them together, but it's gonna highlight the business. It's gonna bring in the Google reviews, and all of this stuff is automated. The agent is still being branded as a business ambassador, but the chat box, you can have a link that says see active listings nearby. So as again, you're promoting the business, but at the same time, you're letting people know that you sell real estate. And if they click on that, it drives them back to your property website. So that's what we call a 1-2 campaign is, if you're using Kaydoh, if they're using Kaydoh to promote their listing, at a very minimum, they should do a spotlight on a business around that listing. Again, you're driving traffic back to your website, more eyeballs on, and it's a numbers game. Okay, closing out here. And be that digital mayor. That's, I listened to this. Some of you might know Gary Vaynerchuk. He's a big social media guy. He can be very interesting with his words sometimes, but he's very authentic. And he spoke at the Inman conference a couple of years ago, and I remember clearly he said, agents, there's like 1.2 million agents. This is so competitive. How do you stand out? Everybody pounds themselves on their chest about how fast it was to close, how easy it was to make so much money, because that's the perception that consumer sees when they read a post about an agent selling so fast or making so much more. They see the results, but they don't see like how are you adding value to them. And one of the ways that Gary was talking about is, be that digital mayor. Dominate your area. Let people know that you should be the point of contact when it comes to the latest events happening in your area, new real estate developments in your area. Do a spotlight on all of that, all of those events. And with Kaydoh, you can do that in scale. I'm going to give you an example here with this person. We give out constant tips about, creating content, a group called growth marketing for small businesses. And we gave an example. We told people, hey, you should do something about local community. And where I'm from in San Jose area, there's this new Costco's that's being developed. And I didn't, and again, I'm connected with so many realtors in my local area. I didn't see any agents talk about this development. Costco drives a lot of traffic, and not only that, it creates questions of whether it's going to affect my property value. Does the traffic going to affect the value? I don't know. But, HD, he did a post. He went to that place, took a photo of it, used our new template, made a little post about how Costco generally attract more affluent members. And this can increase the value of your property. There's actually a study that shows that this does do that. And he linked it in. He made a little video on YouTube, and he got great engagements from this. He took a flyer that was given to him, and he just took those photos, and instead of giving it into a PDF, he just made a gallery out of it. And again, this is content that's publicly available, but he's giving this and essentially branding himself with this product. And again, when people look at this content, they're giving multiple options. He's being very creative with his buttons, by the way. He's using emojis along with the buttons, right? Thinking about selling. What is my home worth? Schedule a private tour, right? So he is definitely taking advantage of a lot of the stuff that we're teaching. And he's bringing in his own testimonials now. Prior to that, that wasn't available. So this is an example of being a digital mayor. And as he, as people go on his website, he ends up retargeting them. He has a pixel installed, so this is not. I emphasize that this isn't something that is, don't think about it as short-term gain. This is him branding himself long-term here, building out the digital equity under his brand, and Kaydoh is helping with that. And then this is how he's using it, and he's creating multiple of these posts every week. And I encourage everyone to really think about how you can be the digital mayor for your own. That's a way to really encourage your clients to be that. Um, with that said, let's move on here. Um, quick tip here, common questions we've got is, what should be the size of the cover image? We always recommend it should be 1920 by 1080. If you use Canva, which is a tool that we love, they have a template called Facebook event cover. Use that. That's exactly this dimension. And for your gallery photos, use the Instagram cover, Instagram template that they have. And again, Canva, if you guys don't know what that is or haven't used it, is a great way to create graphics and digital art in a very easy way. You don't really have to be technical, but it's a really great way to really add some creative flavor to your brand, not just your clients, but your own title brand. Okay, so let's move on to quickly going over the objections here, which is, common questions we get or issues that are brought up is, I don't want to be on my phone all the time. If I have Kaydoh, I mean, does that mean I have to be always chatting with people? And the reality is this: there's no automation in place, and your consumers don't even want that. 95% of consumers don't even want to talk to a robot. So this is one of the primary reasons why we don't offer that type of automations, because consumers don't want that. There's a lot of opportunity for mistakes, and you have your own way of speaking. So again, you're not having thousands of people chit-chatting with you. You're going to have a few that are really interested, and those are the ones who are going to reach out, and they're the ones with higher quality leads naturally. That ask you a question, which you will be able to reach out to them. And again, if you're not available, remember the system will automatically try to grab their information. Kind of going back to that example of that one customer that signed up, when he got that lead, it was a person went on his website and asked a few questions about one of his properties, and it was at 11 p.m. At night. He wasn't awake. He responded back at 7 in the morning, but he was able to grab her information, and he booked a meeting with her to meet up to view the property. So just because you can't speak to them right away doesn't mean it's a lost cause. You're going to get their information. They have real intention of wanting that question answered. And if you're able to, one, be aware and be notified that you got that lead, and two, respond back, especially within a day, then you should be pretty solid on that. So just keep that in mind. Another one is, common thing is, when should I see results? I've been running ads and I'm not seeing any results from Kaydoh. That's a great question. And it depends. We have customers who get leads the first week, the first couple of days, or the first couple of months. It just depends on the traffic quality, the audience targeting, the content. I mean, if you're promoting a property that really no one wants, it's going to be tough to get that engagement. So we recommend agents, look, if you have a listing and you're having a hard time just generating new business, work with other colleagues, grab another hot listing that came out that is going to be very popular. Use that as your property, right? Work with the colleague, ask him, hey, can I help promote your listing? And can I use your photos? Some broker offices allow you to do that without even needing to get the permission. You can just grab the photos and then promote it on your social media. Instead, you're just putting it through Kaydoh. It's going to be branded to you, and you still give them the attribution. You still give them that, that the listing agent is this person, but you're going to be the main point of contact. So again, the results really varies based on the targeting. If they're boosting it, are they targeting the right audience? Are they doing any retargeting? So again, they have to understand that there's a lot of variables that do take place, but they should be assured that if someone does have real intent to engage with the brand, Kaydoh's there and ready to accept that. That's what they should be comfort. Now, old school agents, there you have veteran agents who've been in the business for 20, 30 years, right? And they're looking for new opportunities, but they may not want to be on social media. We come across those type of agents that are big producers, but they don't want to be on social media. So how do you handle those? A lot of times the agents that have been in the business long enough, understand what door knocking is, right? A lot of times they use that. That's their bread and butter. So with them is we tell them, have you ever done a virtual door knock? Because that's will get that conversation starting. A virtual door knock is essentially putting Kaydoh on their website. And as people go on the website, instead of waiting for them to engage, your chat box is popping up, doing that virtual door knock. And those that have been in the industry long enough knows that it's a numbers game, right? It's not about yes, it's how you message it and how you present it, but a lot of times it's the numbers game. You just got to door knock, door knock. So similarly with the virtual door knock is you got to drive people back to your website and give that opportunity every time. So that's one way to create that interest from the agents who've been in the industry long, that is not tech savvy or not on social media, is talk about doing a virtual door knock. That's a very intriguing way of presenting it to them. Great. All right, so let's get into the content examples now. So here are two examples that we put together. One is you can use this, for yourself. Okay, this is for your branding, all about title. So these two examples, one is, do you need title insurance? And one is, top 5 reasons to work with Fidelity. Now you can replace Fidelity with your title, whether it's a lawyer's title, Tico title, Chicago title, Stewart title, whatever that might be, you can replace that according to your company name. So let me go through an example on how one goes through, to create this. Let me pull it up here. Let's see here. And again, I've been speaking a lot here. We got about another 20 more minutes. Any questions so far what I went through? Okay, so let me pull up these two here. And I'm going to load these two up. And to access this content, I'm going to go here. I'm going to Kaydoh. If you go on the Kaydoh website, on the far right, this is where everyone should know how to access your resources. In Kaydoh website, top right, there's a link that says Title Partners. Here is how you can join the program. Most of you already part of the program, hence you got this invitation. But for newer, for your colleagues that are interested, you just bring them here. But in here, you'll be able to see there's a button that says Browse the Title Content Library towards the middle of the page. That's where you can access our content. And our content right now shows 2, but over time, we're going to have 10 more content specifically for title. And so each of these, if you click on them, we give you the exact things that we did, so you can just copy and paste it into your own account. So let's just take a look at what does this specific content looks like, which is, do you need title insurance? So, we made a cover image for you. We provide the content for you. And we made the gallery photos for you. And again, remember, it's going to be branded to you. You can put your social media profiles in here. You can bring in your testimonials now. So remember, many use Reach 150. So we're working in the next release to automatically bring that in. But in the meantime, you can just grab a few, copy and paste, and put them in here. That way your testimonials are here on why an agent should work with you. And again, think about the type of buttons you want to consider offering, like your title app, possibly redirecting back to your website, or scheduling a meeting with you. Scheduling a meeting with you can be, again, your Calendly link. Let's go here. Oh, it says here my chat box is enabled. Oh, okay. I just enabled it. Sorry. Go ahead and must have been, if anyone has any questions, you can send them through the chat window now. I just enabled it. My apologies. I'm going to make sure everyone can see this. Okay, so going back here, how do we actually build this out? So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to use this as an example here. So when you're on this page, again, all of our content is here for you to copy and paste. So with Kaydoh, I'm just going to go back and forth here. I'm going to go to the Smart website, and I'm going to create a quick title content. I'm going to create a new website. And I need to, what layout should I be using? I just got to go back to the Kaydoh page here, which tells me the Kaydoh layout is Esprit. So I'm just going to click on that. I'm going to go to title. What do I put in title and description? Again, I'm going to go back to Kaydoh, and it's going to tell me, here's the title. I can copy it and paste the content. So I'm just going to copy that over. Do the same thing for the description. I'm just going to copy this. And again, this is our example. You can copy and paste it identically, or you can make changes, make it a little more unique to yourself. But let's go ahead and move on to the gallery. So in here, again, how do you grab their content? We will publicly make available our Canva assets. So I can click on these links here, which then will take me to Canva to download the designs themselves. What we always recommend is if you want to make custom changes, you want to be able to make a copy of the design itself. So let's say I want to sign, let's see here, I want to log in here. I don't even remember. I don't think I have this set up here. I'm not going to waste time doing that, but nevertheless, let's see here. Actually, I might be able to do it through here. Let me do this. Copy this because I'm in private mode here. Let's try this. Let's see what happens. Okay, so when you click on that link, it takes you to our copy of our Canva design. Now, if you want to just copy it directly, you can just download the assets. That's perfect. But if you want to make changes, you don't want to use the background photo, then we always recommend go to File, click on Make a Copy. When you do that, it adds it to your personal account. Okay. So that's very important to understand. If you want to copy our design and make it your own, so you can make changes to it, we want you to go to File, make a copy, and it will make a copy and it will add it to your personal account. Okay, so once you download all the assets, I'm going to close this up here. I'm going to close this here. Let's put this together now. Okay, so now I downloaded the cover design. I downloaded the gallery. I'm going to go back to my Kaydoh dashboard. I'm just going to drag and drop that stuff in there here. So I'm going to go ahead and click content. Things are slowing up a bit here on my computer now, so bear with me. Let me turn off my video. That will help as well. Give me a second here. Oh, shoot. Turn off video. Again, my apologies. My internet is slowing down here. Okay, so now that I have the photos, I'm just gonna select them on my computer and I'm gonna drag and drop them right in here. And this will load up the photos. Now, just make sure you pay attention to what is the first image, because that's your cover image. So once it's done loading, all I'm going to do is organize a few things. I'm just going to drag this up, make that the cover, and I'm done. I got my galleries. I already got my content. I'm going to ignore my virtual tour. I'm going to ignore my property. This is not a real estate. Even the chat box, I can make changes to this if I want to. If I want to customize it, maybe I don't want this to be purple. I want to make it a blue. I can certainly do that. Maybe I want to erase all these buttons here. I'm going to use maybe learn more, and maybe I want to schedule schedule a call, right? And again, if I had my Calendly linked in here, it would automatically be brought in, right? So it's going to be calendly.com Kaydoh. So let's say I'm done. I click on finish, go over here. Everything looks good, hit save, and that's it. Again, the content's all made for you. You just got to copy and paste it. And now, once I'm done, I can take a look at it, preview it, make sure it looks good, give it some time to load up. The first time it loads up, it might take a few seconds, but after that, it's loaded pretty quickly going forward. And again, your content is on here. Again, your brand is going to be your brand. It's going to have your title, specific buttons. Now you're ready to go ahead and share it. You can close this out. and share this, again, you can just, erase things that aren't relevant. And again, it's going to bring in your social media tags here. It's going to bring in some of the content, and then you just click on post and share it. And it's going to look just like this when you share it. So that's an example of doing, a very common content is how do I, why do I need title insurance? Now let's do another one where if I wanted to do top 5 reasons to work with my company, right? I can go to Kaydoh again, just going back here, go to the title partners. I would just bookmark this. Once you're here, because this is pretty much your library. We're planning on at least once a month to create new content for title. But here's an example of top 5 reasons to work with Fidelity. And again, you can use different layouts. We made here in this example, we actually put a video together, right? So we use Animoto to put this together. And again, we have the content here below, but we just made the video be the main focal point. We're not going to go through today on how to use Animoto. We do have a link that talks about that towards the bottom. We have a link here that will go through step by step on how to make a video on Animoto. So feel free to leverage that. But if you don't use that, you can use another layout. But nevertheless, you have the layout here. You have the title here, which you can copy, and then you can copy the content over. And you saw how simple that was making the content, right? It's just a matter of choosing the layouts, putting the title, putting the gallery, and essentially you're done. That's all you need to do to create content for title. Kind of going back here, I did not mention this, but this is where you can view different layouts, right? You can click on Tundra, and maybe you want to see Savannah, right? You can click on these and it will show you the different layouts to preview from. Okay, so that's where you can get that. Great. So with that said, let's see here. I think we're almost done here. All right. Okay. So we got 10 minutes left. I want to give you guys a preview of what's up ahead with Kaydoh. With Kaydoh, we have, we're calling this a supercharged way of doing virtual tours now and doing listing presentation. One of the biggest problems doing virtual tours is that most agents don't get any engagements. They'll do like a Facebook Live and they'll do an open house and then they won't get anything. Like there's no strategy behind this. Now, with Kaydoh now, you can embed a Zoom webinar into one of these pages and deliver content. So let me show you what that looks like here. And the reason why we're doing this or we're offering this, and the reason why your clients are going to love this is the fact that it continues the conversation afterwards. It's a lot of times you do these Zoom meetings, and then when you close the meeting, you essentially are moving on to the next thing. There's no post action or post engagement from a Zoom meeting, right? I think we can all agree to that. Even after today's meeting, it's pretty much done, and you're moving on to the next thing. With Kaydoh now, you can use the new layout. Again, this is going to come out probably in this quarter, but it's going to be something where it's going to have, it's like a website where you can join directly in here. You do not need the app. You don't need the software installed. It's all through the browser, but you can have that, a consumer can join into a webinar, but while they have that active, they can browse through the content. They can have handouts that are designated for the property, which they can download. They can have this virtual tour now. And this is why we think this is going to be really effective, is because a lot of times the whole purpose of an open house is this. You go in an open house, you say hi to the realtor, and then you want to be left alone. You go look at the house, and if you have questions, you go back to the realtor. What the current setup, the way agents are doing it, is they do these open house. And if there are 2 buyers on the call, that means their conversations are public. It also means that the agent can only answer one question at a time. So if one of the buyer wants to see the upstairs, and the other buyer wants to see the backyard, how does the agent handle a scenario like that? A virtual tour like this allows every one of them to do what they want to do, look at the property, and when they have a question, they can just go back and ask that person in real time, or even after watching their webinar, because it may not be a open house, it might be a webinar on training, or biggest mistakes homeowners makes when they list their property. Maybe the agent decides to do a webinar on that, and then after the webinar, he wants to or she wants to provide content about those biggest mistakes. Now with the Zoom integration, you can do that, because during the meeting, before the meeting, the content is locked, but during the meeting or after the meeting, and while they have that meeting take place up top here, their content below gets unlocked, where now you can download the presentation, you can download the tips, the PDF, the videos that they might have. So this has a lot of applications, right? The value of this is you're putting content in one single place for people to download. You're having real-time engagements up top here with the webinar, right? They're seeing you face to face. When the meeting is over, you leave as an agent, but the visitor is still on this website. Nothing gets closed, and they get this content. So now the conversation can continue to happen, because if they end up having a question, hey, they can talk to the agent again. So this is a great way of just continuing that engagement, the post effect of this. And not only that, you can retarget people now with this. That's another effective way. How often do we think about from an agent perspective, when they do a listing presentation, they might get a phone number, right? And then they meet the person and they do the presentation and they physically hand out documents. Okay, they go home and that's it. How do they go back and retarget them? Well, if they're really savvy, they'll manually put that person's phone number in and put it in a database into Facebook and create a custom audience. That's a whole lot of steps. Or they already embedded a Facebook pixel on one of these layouts, so that when they do a virtual listing presentation, or when they do send the actual homeowner this link, they can retarget them automatically, because now Facebook is tracking them. So once they do a post, once they do a listing presentation, even though they haven't committed to working with the agent can retarget them now, because the fact they went on this website, they did the webinar, or they didn't do the webinar, but the agent sent them this link with all the content for them to download. Again, it's the presentation documents, the marketing strategy, the top tips for selling for the highest amount of money, maybe an intro video about that agent, right? So all of this handouts is unlocked by the agent. And again, you'll have, if this was a property, you have the virtual tour, you can have a gallery here, their information is here, and the testimonials are all here. So we're really leveling up on how we can, create this true virtual engagement, or virtual tour, or you can think of it virtual webinar. Now, this isn't just about doing a open house. This is really taking your Zoom meeting and putting it into an organized manner. So as every one of you think about, you can, as you do Zoom meetings, now you can start thinking about, wait a minute, I can do a meeting and provide additional value from this meeting. I can give them some content. So when I'm hosting a training with my clients, I can give them something here. This is immensely powerful. And at the same time, your clients are going to start asking, wait a minute, you just did this. How can I apply this to my business? Thus making you the authority, the expert in what you're doing. So, this type of layout, we're still testing it out. We're gonna also offer a way to do not just webinars, but make this be a video, because a lot of times an agent will shoot a open house video beforehand, and they may want to post it on YouTube. They can do that, but then drive people to this website and let them know, hey, here's the video and here's all the content that you can download about this property, like the property profile. And you can make it, and we're already considering making it so that for them to unlock this, they put in their email. So if they are interested in the content, they put in the email, it will unlock and they will get the asset themselves. So that's another way of doing lead capturing. So the Zoom layout will be available. We really hope this quarter here, we're still testing it out. There's going to be some limitations already just because of Zoom's limitations and based on iOS and PC, the way things are set up with browsers, we're working out on trying to make this very smooth for consumers. But right now, early testing shows that all they do is click on join webinar and it joins right into the meeting. There's no app to install and they'll get asked to go in. So with that said, I think that does it. I do want to emphasize, we want to go through the title partners on our website. That's where our resource is. And in there, you have down the bottom, you can join our marketing group. This is where we're giving out free content. We give out tips for agents. Agents are taking advantage of this. Agents are getting leads from this or getting clients from this. We will write the content as if we were the realtor and they just got to copy and paste it. And we'll give out tips also for title reps, but specifically for title, we're going to make it exclusive for you guys. We're going to have something that's a little bit more organized. Hence, going to the title library, this is where the content will be available for you to manually put into your system. And if you have trouble, wanting to get more up to speed on Kaydoh and how to use it, we have the tutorial library, and you can always live chat with us. Okay, so with that said, that's about it. We did say we're going to have about 8 upcoming content in Q4. Oh, 8? Okay, so that's what we're targeting. So keep an eye out on that. With that said, I appreciate everyone for really joining us today. I'm excited to see everyone use the product. And again, if you guys have questions, reach out to me directly. Many of you have my personal email. It's mlm@kaydoh.com. You can live chat with us, live chat with Kelly. And again, I wish you guys the best of luck. We're already thinking about other content that we can do training for title. For example, we're going to do how to brand yourself as an authority in title. Title is a very challenging business to be in because of the compliance rules. So you do have to be careful on what you put out there. But we're thinking about ways on how we can really grow your personal brand and, look for that. That might be towards the end of this year or early Q1 next year on kickstarting your brand. So with that said, thank you, everyone. All right.
Thank you, Michael. Great day, man.